All right, let's jump right in. So picture this. You're running a great business. Maybe it's a car dealership, and out of nowhere, your leads just dry up. You're spending the same amount of money on marketing, but it feels like fewer and fewer people can even find you. Well, it turns out you might be slowly becoming invisible online. Today, we're going to dig into why this is happening to so many businesses, and it's all based on a really sharp analysis by AI strategist David Rozek.
And this number, this is the heart of the whole mystery. We're talking about a staggering 70% of car dealerships, and, probably most other businesses too, who are completely struggling to be found by customers in this new AI-driven world. They are getting left behind in a huge digital shift.
So that's the big question, right? Why is this happening? And look, this isn't just some niche problem for car dealers. This is about a massive change in how all of us find information, and why most businesses are totally unprepared for it.
So this whole thing really started with a story about a dealership manager, a really sharp guy who just noticed his leads were vanishing into thin air. He couldn't figure it out, until a friend of his ran an audit that uncovered a pretty brutal truth about his online presence. A truth that honestly applies to most of us.
And here we go. This is the root of it all. Just think about how we used to search. Yesterday, we type a few keywords in a Google, something like Honda dealer near me. But today, we're asking full-on questions to AI assistants like ChatGPT. We're asking things like, what's the best hybrid SUV for a family of 4 under $35K? See the difference? We've gone from using search engines to using answer engines, and that changes absolutely everything.
So to really see if this dealership was ready for this new world of AI-powered answers, it was time for a major reality check. And the tool for the job was something called a Generative SEO audit, or GSEO for short.
And, well, this quote from the guy who ran the test, David Rozek, it just says it all. The results weren't just a little bad, they were, in his own words, absolutely brutal. We're not talking about a small leak here. This was a catastrophic failure of their entire online visibility.
Okay, so before we look at the grim results, let's quickly nail down what GSEO even is. Because it's not your dad's SEO. It's all about optimizing your website so that AI systems, which are the new gatekeepers online, can find your stuff, understand what it means, and, this is the most important part, actually recommend it as the best answer to someone's question. And here it is, the brutal truth. The dealership's final GSEO score was a jaw-dropping 15 out of 100. I mean, just look at this. Total failure across the board. They only got 15% on their main search pages, and the same for their individual vehicle pages. Even their pages comparing different models only scored a 10%. The dealership was, for all intents and purposes, completely invisible to AI. And the scariest part? This wasn't some isolated case. This is the new normal.
So this is the key. We have to understand why these scores are so tragically low. Why is the marketing that worked just fine a few years ago suddenly failing so spectacularly? Let's break it down.
And really, it comes down to this simple idea. Most digital marketing today is fighting yesterday's war. A lot of vendors are still optimizing websites for the Google of 2019, totally focused on old-school keywords. They're completely missing the fact that these new AI answer engines are playing a totally different game. They're set up to lose from the start.
It all boils down to 3 huge mistakes. First, something called geographic blindness. Businesses are laser-focused on their own city, but they're totally ignoring the bigger region where their customers actually live and search from. Second, their content is all siloed off. Their websites don't have those deep comparison-style pages that answer the really complex questions people are asking now. And third, they completely ignore social proof. They just underestimate how much an AI relies on things like your Google reviews to decide if you're trustworthy.
This leads to a really interesting new idea called integrity theater. The point is that your reputation, your reviews, what people are saying on social media, your community involvement, it's not just a vanity metric anymore. It's now essential infrastructure for your business. You literally have to perform and showcase how trustworthy you are for both your customers and for AI to see.
Okay, so that's the problem. And yeah, it's big, it's a little scary, but the good news is there's a way forward. So let's shift gears and look at the action plan. How can a business actually adapt and start winning in this new age of AI?
So here it is, the 4-step playbook to get your business ready. It all starts with number 1, demand a real GSEO audit. You have to get an honest look at where you actually stand. Next, you've got to expand your digital geography. You need to create content that targets your entire service area, not just your own zip code. Third, you have to become the answer source.
Start creating really deep, valuable content that answers the complex questions your customers are asking. And finally, number 4, weaponize your reputation. Systematically build up those reviews and showcase that social proof everywhere you possibly can.
So what we're really talking about here isn't just a small tweak to your marketing plan. No, this is a massive turning point. It's creating what the source material calls the Great Digital Divide, and businesses are quickly falling into one of two camps.
And this right here is the result. This is the new business landscape. You've got the 70% over here who are struggling, stuck, fighting yesterday's war, and becoming more and more invisible every single day. And then you've got the 30% who get it. They're the ones adapting their strategies for an AI-first world, and they are the ones who are absolutely thriving. And I want you to let this one really sink in. This is not something that's on the horizon, something you need to prepare for someday. The change has already happened. The AI revolution in search is here, right now, and doing nothing is no longer an option if you want your business to survive.
Which really just leaves us with this one final critical question. Your customers have already changed how they find things. They're turning to AI for advice on what to buy and who to buy from. So the only question you have to ask yourself is this: when they ask, will your business even be part of the answer?